Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today is day 27 of switching from Nvidia to AMD. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I told you guys I'd keep making these if we kept getting over 1,000, and my gosh, man, it just it's incredible. The last one got over 2,000 views. So apparently you guys like these. These are awesome. These are fun to make. Um, but I do feel like I am gonna stop at 30. Like after 30, and then we will, and then maybe I'll just do like a weekly thing. We'll go up to 30, and then we'll do like a weekly thing. Let you know how things are still going. Um, I want to I want to talk about this chiplet design. Um, there seems to be a lot of what is it? Not not confusion, but like worry because it is new. I mean, it's obviously new technology. It's obviously pretty power hungry. My graphics card, usually runs right at 348 watts while I'm playing games and stuff. Idling at just over 100 watts. Which to me, man, like I bought a high end card. I bought a high end card, man. Like if and it is going to consume power. One of the things that we kind of have to realize when it comes to AMD is they are slower at bringing the technology to, to power their devices, to optimize their graphics cards. They do kind of roll them out over time. Whereas, you know, whereas like with Nvidia, like everything is there. You'll get the drivers, all that stuff. You usually get like the game ready drivers for Nvidia, which is pretty cool. I do kind of feel like you get more frequent drivers for Nvidia, but I have seen two drivers now, two updates for this AMD card since I've had it. Like one right after I got it, and then we just got one the other day, which is pretty good. I was noticing in some of my videos that it would do like that the sound would start to come out of sync. I really haven't tested it too much lately since then, but I did notice that, and that is supposed to be something that they did fix in the new driver update or whatever. But when it comes to the AMD side of things, guys, you got to understand, like if you're going to switch from Nvidia to AMD, things are going to be different. Not everything is going to be the same. You're going to have you're not necessarily going to have a different experience gaming at all. Like I mean, you can barely even tell. If you're using, so the last couple of days I have been checking out RSR, which is Radeon Super Resolution, as well as FSR 2.0 on multiple games to kind of see, like, compare and contrast the two. And the difference that the realization that I've come to is that RSR is pretty decent. It's not bad. That's usually something that you can on driver, like just in your driver software, you can just flip it on, and then you can use that in games that don't support FSR 2 or 1 or anything, and it will do essentially the same thing. It'll just kind of upscale it at a driver level, but you'll have to set your resolution lower, and then it will upscale it automatically for you. And I tried that mainly with Control Remedy. I tried that. I tried the because Control Remedy has a thing that you can set the resolution, lower, but then have it output at a higher resolution, kind of like it does on the Xbox and the PlayStation 5. It'll it'll render out at 1440p and then upscale it. That's already built into the Northlight engine for that game. So you can do that, or you can set both of them to like 1440p and then let RSR Radeon Super Resolution do the upscaling for you. And to tell you the truth, it almost looks identical. Like I can't pick up any perceivable difference in either of the two upscaling technologies. So in my opinion, the RSR does work, and it does look pretty good. You get a nice sharp clean picture, and I've been testing this at 4K, not on 1440p. It's a lot harder to see like the upscaling on 1440p than it is to see it on 4K. On 4K it's a lot easier to see. since I've gotten, the OLED, the LG C2 OLED, and I've been able to test some more of these technologies for you guys to actually look at them and give you my honest feedback on just how they look to me. Um, I'll tell you that a lot of people say that FSR2 is not good quality. I was testing this out on Forspoken tonight. If you've been with the channel for a while, you know that Forspoken is one of one of my favorite games this year. Very very cool game. Really like that. And I was testing it tonight. I locked the frame rate down to 60 frames per second. I turned on FSR quality. Honestly, to tell you the truth, you kind of have to run that with Forspoken at 4K. This game is still a little bit it's still not 100% fixed, but it does run significantly better. The only time I'd ever played it before was at 1440p. So I was usually getting, over 60 frames a second with like DLSS and all of that stuff. I have since played it on, on this graphics card, but only within the last couple of days. I'm putting it over on 4K and I'm finding out. But I was able to get that game running very, very well with both RSR and FSR 2.1. Now I've got it to lock to 60 frames per second. I've got the image quality looks very very good with FSR. It really does. It looks very good with FSR2. It looks very good with FS or RSR. So in terms of like having like using your upscalers, uh, I I I want to stress this that when it comes to like the upscalers, I mean, I do kind of feel like some of these newer games are going to need them. And when Remnant 2 kind of like brought that to the forefront that these game developers are going to start relying on this technology to kind of smooth things out. And I noticed that with both Remnant 2 and Forspoken that when you turn on the upscaler, it stabilizes these games. And it does work. And that's pretty much what it comes down to is wanting a smooth experience. And if the games aren't optimized well to take advantage of the overall system and stuff, then and you need these upscalers to upscale them, that does kind of suck. That does kind of make you feel like, wait a minute, man, why can't you guys just optimize these games better? And I see that as like a reoccurring problem when it comes to PC gaming. The overall because most of these games are built for the Xbox or the PlayStation. They're ported over to PC. They're given some new makeup and lipstick and whatever, and they look a little bit crisper, a little bit better. Probably got maybe a couple shades of texture resolution better. The biggest difference was Resident Evil 4 going from Xbox Series X to PC at max settings. Absolutely freaking incredible upgrade for that game. Very very nice. Definitely better looking textures and everything. Like it just looks even better. So back to what I was saying about, these games being built for like Xbox and PlayStation, and then just ported over to the PC. Sometimes it just doesn't really, it isn't like a cohesive fit at first. Like there is going to be more optimization and other things coming along, down the road. And sometimes it's going to take, a month or 2 months or maybe even 3 months with The Last of Us Part 1. I mean, it just starts to take some time. But in the end, for most, for at least for me, when I buy these games day one and I play through them right then, um, usually that's my experience. But most of the time, if the game is really bad, I'll just kind of set it aside and come back to it later once it gets fixed. RSR with Jedi Survivor actually does work pretty decent, but FSR 2.1 does seem to be a little bit better for that particular title. It does seem to make it, at least in the quality mode, FSR 2.0 in quality mode on 4K actually looks incredible. Like it looks really good. I don't know why a lot of people would be like FSR 2.1 quality isn't good. That one's probably by far the best. Balanced isn't too bad either. Balanced is, I mean, it leaves a little bit of fuzzy, but not a whole bunch. It does look pretty dang good. So in terms of upscalers, if you have to use these upscalers, um you just, I mean, you kind of have to, like, it does suck, man. These PC ports are not going to be 100%, optimized. And I noticed that a lot with that 3080 card, because the 3080 card just didn't have the power to brute force like the 7900 XT does. So I didn't really have that brute force power to kind of move around that. I had to rely on DLSS. I had to and it would still wasn't perfect. It still wasn't like giving me that overall experience. Now I did play through all of Jedi, well, at 1440p. um, I would say I was getting the 1440p experience that I'm getting now with the 7900 XT on 4K. So in terms of like just bumping up the resolution, I would say that the 7900 XT does a really good job at 4K on most titles, but it also does, from time to time need, that upscaling support, which is, in my opinion, man, just going from 1440p to 4K is definitely a big enough difference to be like, okay. And then the fact that I can also run games way higher at like 6K and then, downsample them to like 4K or, 1440p, that gives me a lot more headroom with the 7900 XT to really push things in ways that I would like to do that. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with the overall with the overall experience that AMD brings to the table. The the fact that everything is just a lot more like like cohesive. It just feels like it's more fine tuned for that user experience. Like you don't have to be like a computer physicist or a computer freaking scientist to figure out how to use it. It's just like, hey man, like we're built for gamers. This is what you need. Here's a list of all your stuff. Here's a little thing to tell you what it does. I like that. I appreciate that. I appreciate the user experience that AMD has given me, and it's pretty awesome. Nvidia is not bad by any means. Like I don't want anybody to come away from these videos thinking that I hate Nvidia, because I don't. I don't hate Nvidia. Nvidia is awesome. It does a great job. I just kind of feel like I just kind of feel like buyer beware with Nvidia, man. Like you better know your stuff. You better know your stuff, and you better know what you're getting yourself into, or you're gonna waste a lot of money very fastly, very quickly with Nvidia products. And that could be the same for AMD, man. I did buy a high end card, so you got to look at it that way too. Like I bought like a pretty high end card that I mean, it's just like one step under the top of the line that you can get. So in terms of having a high end PC experience, this is not the experience that most gamers are going to have on a PC, especially if you're buying, something under that. Your experience is going to vary. It's going to differ, and um, for the most part, like I feel like you're going to be mostly happy, but you might play around with some settings, and you can definitely find a setting for you to be okay with. Me, I'm a snob, like when it comes to PC gaming, I'm like, man, I spent all this money, I bought a high-end PC, I want ultra settings, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like I do that to myself. I do kind of play around with the settings now a little bit more, and get things a little bit more fine-tuned. Um, in terms of like doing benchmarks videos and stuff like that, I think I want to kind of turn to just like getting things as stable at like 60 or 120, and then making some videos that way on this card to like show you what it's doing. Instead of just having like a variable frame rate. I do like that because it does add more fluidity when you're playing, like in your controls and everything else. If you lock it to 60 or something, or 120, then you get that latency that comes with those FPS locks. But if you just kind of give it a variable and let it be variable, then for some reason it just starts to feel a little bit better. The input latency feels a lot better. So that's like there's a lot of things that go along with PC gaming that a lot more doors open for you. And some of them, are some of them can be very good. Some of them can be, not really optimal, or, not really give you the experience that you think you should have. And a lot of it does come down to the optimization of these games when they launch. A lot of it does come down to that. And some of it can be solved with simple settings adjustments. Some of it just isn't solved until the game is patched to run better on your hardware. So that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking about switching. But in terms of the overall AMD experience from what Nvidia offers, I don't think the differences are going to be big enough to where anybody's going to really be like, "Oh my gosh, man, I I I do feel like they're pretty close. They're pretty competitive in terms of delivering a gaming experience that's going to make most people happy. That's going to make most people happy. So, all right, man. I really appreciate you guys watching these videos. Hopefully, I think we are going to stop at 30. We're going to do 3 more. We'll stop at 30, and then I'll just do like weekly updates for these because I need to get back to making like other types of content. And while these are doing really, really good, and I'm very grateful for that, I do want to be able to get back to making all the other types of content that I make, and I don't want to sit here and just try to milk this and milk it. I want to be able to do my varied content again. I want to be able to get back into there, like talking about the consoles. We got a lot of games that are coming up pretty soon, so you'll be getting a lot of content, for these new games from me. You'll be getting a lot of content for the Xbox versions of those. You'll have Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 5. I've got the new beta that I'll be testing out on the PS5 over the next couple of days, so you'll get some content for that. I want to be able to get back into like doing things. This PC, this graphics card, and the overwhelming support that I've gotten from the community has been great, and it's kind of pulled me in a direction that I want to get back to just being, the normal channel, the normal content, the stuff. I haven't put out any sim racing stuff for a little while, but I do got some of that coming up, some of that planned, because of the LGC2, some of that planned for the new graphics card, getting all the setup and everything. So I really appreciate it, man. Like I said, we are going to stop at 30, and then we'll do like a weekly update for the graphics card. I think that's good. I think 30 days is fine. That gives it a nice, a nice series of 30 videos for that. I mean, that's cool. Like, definitely. And then we'll do weekly, and we'll just keep going. So if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel.